Hello and welcome again to Steve Long's Share Workshop, where things come to looked at and examined when they've looked at elsewhere. Interesting, or in this case, because there are a lot of these about on the net, a lot, and they get them very often, and they get mechanical faults, and some of them can be quite alarming, but they're not. This is the FTD3 FTD4 deck by Thorn EMI. The time they're based in Enfield, and this deck was their answer to the BD2 BD10 from BSR. They're a good machine, a very good machine in fact, but they have, shall we say, issues. And I'll show you what those issues are very quickly. And I won't put a tape in because you don't need it to see the problem. Okay? So on we go. Press the fast forward button down. And as you can see, there is nothing. Press the play button down. And you can see here, there is nothing. Press your Y button down. There you are, that's working. Now, like the BSR deck, these move these spindles about to contact the other parts of the deck very slightly. And the problems occur when inside the deck the grease all dries up. So all you've got to do with these is take them apart and clean them. That's all you need to do. Also happens with the speed control too, by the way. This is they came in different versions. They came with a 4-track and a 2-track. This is a 4-track, and of course 2-speed. Yeah, straight away. In some ways they were above the BSR, which is one of the BSR panicked and brought out the TD10 deck. They do actually, like I said, form very well, but they have to do things to them. So what I'll do, I'll take this one apart and we'll go in and we'll have a look and you'll see what needs to be done to get this thing into working order. Because as you can see there, it isn't. Like I said, they come in with what are, they come in with what are faults which look quite serious, but in fact they are in fact quite simple to sort out. So sort them out we will. So get one of these decks in. There are certain things you need to do, and we'll do them on this one just to prove. Also, one or two other faults come to mind as well, and also these decks also used a certain type of capacitor which need to be changed, shall we say. In some of them they use the Hunt capacitors, or some people in trade call them something else, which is quite right, because, well, it's not actually, because that piece of female anatomy is useful, but those capacitors really aren't now. Funny, you know, because in transistor radios they don't seem to cause quite a problem, although they've changed anyway. You know, there's the famous Charles Miller CCCV capacitor changing disease, which people seem to have these days. And like I said before, there are two types of engineer doing vintage radio these days. One of them is the one that looks for the faults, and the other one is the CCCD, compulsive capacitor changing disease sufferer. Now, if you want to change all the capacitors in the unit, fine, go ahead, do it. In the long run, I suppose it is a good thing. But what we seem to be losing in the process is fault finding, the ability to actually find your fault and fix it. Yeah, which is something which is equally, if not more valuable. And so for that reason, I'm going to make sure with this one that we're going to go through it and we're going to change all the faults, because that is the way it was done back in the day. And these skills are now kept very much in the back of people's minds, because people change all the caps and switch on and hope for the best. And a lot of people in the vintage radio trade go online and say, I've turned all the capacitors, it's still not working, what now? Well, that's it, you see. The internet change all the capacitors. It doesn't always work. Doesn't always work. One thing which I will say about capacitor changing disease is that some capacitors which need to be changed. Grid caps come to mind, but generally speaking, if you're not sure, change that by all means on capacitor, on radios, tape recorders, whatever. Smoothing caps, if they're not creating lots of hum and noise, they're probably okay. But again, if it's if you're not sure, then you know, again, just change them anyway. But mostly, capacitors aren't always the problem. For example, if I press play on this now, yeah. Now, if I was to power it now, with that like that, yeah, it will work. That's working, and now you see that one is working too, yeah, because I've moved it manually. You see, like that, yeah, and it's slow going back, as you saw. When play comes in, the speed control here also needs to be cleaned if it's here, and the speed control is varied in the usual way with a pinch, roller and idler system here, and this is just the take-up spool here. Okay, so basically it's not too different from the BSR deck, but it does have its differences, shall we say. So you need to be well and truly aware of them. Otherwise, you might be in for a bit of a nasty surprise further down the line. Basically, when one of these comes into repair, then immediately you go for these capacitors every time without fail. And most times you'll be right, and also cleaning this deck in the ways which I'm about to show you. You see, the bits which need to be changed are underneath these wheel tables, and these wheel tables are taken off from underneath. So the tape recorder got to come well and truly out of the unit and put on the bench without the case to be whipped on in this way. With the unit apart on the bench here, the first thing you do is look and find out what's where. That's the motor, obviously. Right there, that's the motor, you see that? That's spinning quite well. They usually do on these, so I don't take them out unless I have to. The two spindles are held in by these nuts here and here, so you have to move this transformer aside, and also this board has to be moved slightly to get them out. That's not much of a problem. Done it many times before. The valves, ECL L86 and ECC83. Now the difference between an 8.6 and an 8.3, by the way, ECL86s, and that is a replacement, by the way, are not as tolerant of other faults, such as a grid cap. as certain other valves are. And so if it's faulty, even though it has to be replaced in this, there are a few caps on this which need replacing. Also, don't forget there's one on the tone control here as well which needs to be looked at as well. Again, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. So yeah, but this is something else we need to get sorted. And sometime in the past, this is I obviously had a knock, and it's been put together, but not terribly well. So what I'll do, I will glue the board back together and go over all these traces to make sure that they're all okay. And then hopefully that'll be okay. I shouldn't think there'll be anything else that will be a problem there. The buttons will work okay. So really the first thing is getting the these spindles off, which again, one at a time, okay, one at a time. So what you do, put this transformer out of the way slightly by undoing this here, yeah, so that this comes out of the way. That's all. Don't have to be off, it's just out of the way, you know. So there you are. It gives it a bit more to look at there, you see. So it's now that and the other one which is there. So don't fall into the trap of doing them both at once. One, out, clean, in, and two, out, clean, and in. Do them separately, okay? That's very important. So yeah. So first thing we've got to do is find out a suitable adapter for that, and then we go in and we take a look and see exactly what is jammed. You see, part of this is iron and part of it is different metals, and I don't know which metals they're called, so somebody will come out and tell me, which is fine. I like that. But one of them, it does actually tend to go absolutely solid, so that's something else which you have to look for, and that is a problem that can cause some quite alarming faults with these. You see, it's sometimes very alarming, but that as well. So we've got what could say this one, haven't we? With this apart, there's a circlip on two washers here, which I'll put together up there. Always be careful, by the way, with these, not to lose any washers, because they're there for a reason. And if you don't put them in the right way around, then interesting things will happen. So that now comes off, yeah. That now comes off and it goes under there, like that. And the problem is here, you see. This way isn't so bad, yeah. This one actually looks pretty good, actually. I'll give it a spray and we'll put this one back together again. And look at the other one. The other one is slightly different. Like I said, one at a time, please. One at a time. By the way, also it's sometimes necessary to take this off here as well, because this too can be a bit of a problem. So I'll give it a gentle flip spray like that, very quickly. You see what it does, you see, is it put, when that pushes, you see, it pushes that and pushes that towards that lever there. That's how it works. All quite simple. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. But it does mean on these that you do bit of disassembly to do it. You know. So that now goes back on there. That now goes back on there like that. And those go back on underneath. And then we go to the other side and the same applies. And the belt needs to be changed as well, obviously. Now to get the other table off takes a bit more work. This table here, this printed circuit board here, has to come. I've taken it off this end in the end. This has been up before. A lot of screws are have been used before rather too often. So everything is different on this. But sometimes I go, but we get around problems like that. So now that transformer comes out like that, and now this should come off like that and go out the way just enough like that with to get at this here. I'll lift it so you can see. Hang on. With that board out the way, you see, you've got that there. You see that you see, which lifts off the other table. So now, after all that, that is what we do. Carefully, because of course certain components do tend to fly off in all directions. I've got others, but you know, I prefer to keep the originals if at all possible. So, if you've not got the tool, get a screwdriver, and the key is patience. Okay, so that comes off, and also like before, anything else that was on there comes off as well, like so. That's one, and two in a second. It's awfully fiddly, by the way, with it, but awfully fiddly, particularly if you only got one hand. This is awfully fiddly. So this one has to come off as well. Like that. And again, they go up there for so we don't lose them. Okay. So now, if you take the unit and turn it over again now, like that, straight away, that'll come off. You see, like that. So now, it's the same applies. So that come off, and these again, take it apart and clean it. Also with this, there's an extra layer underneath here. That's there, which holds this. This goes in there like that. You see, like that, and it then comes off the idler because it's a take up. It's a take up for playback. So that has to be changed as well because it's broken. Notice, by the way, with these that this one is broken. But one thing it's not done is spray black crap everywhere. Some do and some don't. I don't know why that is. I really don't. Something to do with the curing process, I think. It doesn't matter because, of course, this one is bin fodder. But I need to get a belt as well for that. So that can go up there for now, and it goes underneath there. Now, if I look at that, there you see, on the other one, this one, it doesn't move at all. But very, very slowly, you see? Very, very slowly. So now, I've got to take off that there, and take out and clean it all out under there. That's the next thing we have to do. So again, like all of these clips, if you've not got a tool, which I haven't, use a screwdriver and gradually they will come off. But be careful not to let it fly, or in a lot of places like that, you never see it again, in the way that's gone. It came down here somewhere. I can probably find that. But if you look, you see now, it's still stuck on there. I'll just pull it a little bit further down. You see, that is still. I'll put that is now still from there. So all that now has to be taken out and cleaned, which is, shall we say, a job which has to be done on these without those, as you see. So I'll put that up there with the rest, and now this has to come apart and be cleaned. You see, it's moving it, but very, very slowly. That one, no problem. This one, look at that. Even with me doing that, it's coming back to life a bit, but that has to be taken apart and cleaned, which is the next job. So that now has to come out of there like that. Now, getting it off on these, it's quite simple. It just uses elbow grease and a lot of it to pull that off completely. Then it's cleaned and put back. So it will come, but it does take time, particularly when you've got one hand. It will take time, but this is the problem in a nutshell. I've got some watchmakers or somewhere. I'll probably put that down it and see if that loosens it. Now with these decks, similar to the BSR decks, belts go underneath here on some of them. Some there's a wheel, others that belt which broke goes under here to here, and there's no real way to get in apart from just taking the thing apart step by step and hour by hour in some cases. So what I'm going to do now, I'm taking out most of the screws, but it's still not coming the way it should. Well, so the next thing I'm going to do is take this valve out, AM87, because one, I don't want it in the way, and two, I've not got any of those, so out it comes. So that goes out of the way. And now I've got one screw which is loosening at the moment, which will come at some point, but not for a while. But this machine, like I said, it's been apart before, and it's not been terribly happy about it. So I'm taking something apart here, which, you know, had been taken apart before, and a lot of these screws are threaded badly and all sorts, so it will take a while. It does happen, you know. Then of course I've got that that circuit board to glue together underneath. I'll do that after I've done this. So basically, I'm not going to lift the thing completely off. I'm going to lift it off enough for it to put this drive bar around it, and it also goes under here, underneath the take-up table. Or there is that, which is the other part of it, and it goes on there to the either wheel underneath here. It doesn't take a lot, because of course all it's doing is take up and nothing else. So it's not actually going to be a belt that does a great deal like certain others are. But getting into it is another job in itself. With that out of the way, you know, basically what we do is look and see where it's being held in place. Yeah, that's the next thing. Look and see where it's being held. and what's holding it. You know, the diagrams I've got for this don't tell us a right lot, I must admit. Not down to this level. So basically this is very much a trial and error situation. So I'll come back when it's when I've got it apart and ready to fit the drive belts. When the drive belt's fitted, that is okay now. That's okay now. And that of course is the play there, the switch there as well, which also needs to be cleaned as well. So yeah, this one is a lot more troublesome than most of these, I admit, and for that reason I will show you in more detail of the various things to do. Like I said, the information I've got doesn't tell you a right lot about how this comes apart. So I'm very much on my own here. Like I said, it's very much like the old BSR deck, apart from the button assembly, and so I'll go off that as well. Changing the drive belts on one of these is, as far as I can tell, not easy. Yeah, all the front here has to come off, all of it. All the keys had to come off. I have to put them back in. They'll come with these springs, by the way, as well, so I'll show you how to do that very soon. Springs, of course, everything else has to go back in. And the fact is that you can get to that flywheel there from the bottom, but you can't get a barbell over that into the top. So you've got to go in from the top, and the people at Thorn did not make that easy by any stretch. I have to take off both spools, both pedals that they're here, like that again. So I've got to put them back on as well. I'm getting it extra clean while I was here, but now I'm going through the manual and find out exactly what goes where with this. I should have made notes, I know, but there's the manual, a better one that I've got hopefully. So I'll have a look for it, and when I come back I should be in a somewhat better mood, because I'm not in a good mood right now, as I'm sure you can imagine, and we'll get this thing back. All that just to get that drive belt through there, like that. That's all it was for. All that just for that drive belt. Yeah. Look, it doesn't go that often. So this is not a job that you have to do often, but it is a job that you'll have to do. So I'll take you through this to the end as well, because I'm nice like that. In the end, I got hold of this Thorn manual for it, and I found that actually this 4 screws needs to take it to bring the top off as well. So I've taken those out as well and got the top completely off. I had to take off the head assembly for that, which is 4 screws, not the ones for the heads alignment. There are 4 other screws out. They come off, and also the thing which straps the tape at the end, which also is used on some of these machines. Going underneath, I'll put that spring back on there. Well, I noticed that one or two bits missing, which I'm going to have to look at as well. One thing I must say is that the drive belts on these here rarely fail unless something has killed them, as it were. So I'm cleaning everything as well. Under here has been cleaned, all this has been cleaned as well, and here, all been cleaned. So now we've got the job of putting everything back together. Also, I took off this socket as well, so turn the whole thing over. I took off the mic socket, which is here. Now, it's actually a socket on this which is not available now, so I might put this one back, but I'm not decided on this one just yet. I might put a normal 3-pin in there, so it's like a normal 3-pin or maybe a 5-pin DIN microphone in there, just to make it a bit more usable for me in the future. Again, I don't know, but these decks, they're easy to work on, but you've got to be patient with them. You've got to be very patient with them all the way through. This one has been apart before. There were 2 things missing, which obviously I will replace from my own stocks, or something that will do, such as the lever plate latch assembly screw is completely missing as well here. Again, that's easy to sort it. We can do that. Yeah. Also, I took this out. This is the I think the power supply board or something. I don't know exactly what it is. It's got 2 capacitors on it, 2 daily capacitors, one to other little things. But as you can see, it's let's get it on camera. There we are. It is in fact held together by the components because the board has snaps. So what I will do then next what I'll do is I'll Gorilla Glue it, leave it one night, and then I will do all the connections with wire or whatever, and that should do. That is the least of our worries right now, but it's out now for security's sake as well, as are the valves, by the way, again for security's sake. At the time, chances are with these decks, the FTD3 and the FTD4, people never went this far into them. It's the first time I have actually, I'll admit that. But I do it to show you how to do it, okay? And mistakes that they can fall into with them as well. This is the FTD4, it's the one with the 4-track heads, which are under here. And of course the speed control, which you see. The speed control also gums up on these, so that has also been resurrected as well. So we are halfway through a rather interesting job here, as always, and we will put it right, but it's going to take time. Mechanics on these aren't normally this bad, but this one is. So now I'll pop this board back in like that, put it all back in with that in place, because that's is what it came in from the first place. I don't want to put it back in, you know, without it. And then I've got a reassembly job on. Again, I'll look for another socket here. The reason Mike actually had a switch on to stop it and start it as well. I'm going to leave that because I don't think that many tape recorders now of this kind will be using that, and of course it's a less common fitting. So I would say that was something more common. I've got a jack plug somewhere, actually. I might put that in, but that's something for the future, as it were. But that's where we're up to with it, and now we've got to put the thing back together again. Wish me luck, people, wish me luck. Right, now this thing here, the key assembly here, there's the holes in the board here where these go through, and they engage with what's underneath here, which drives the capstan system here and these here. Okay, it's simple enough, yeah. If I lift it up if I can, you'll see it. I'll try, hang on. I'll try and get this so you can see it, hang on. Right, I think, can you see that? Yeah, so what happens is the keys operate this here, which operates the capstan for playback, and of course these for the winds. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, so with that in mind, therefore, yeah, they go straight like that, and there of course we've got the buttons to put in. Now the buttons actually, things to look out for you. First of all, that on this side here, those two screws have the rubbers, these two don't, and this one has an extra thing on to hold a screw which goes to here. So it goes from there to there. Okay, that's something which, if you look here, you see there's a screw which goes from there to just there. Okay, it's actually it's slightly red things actually. So one end goes on there and one end goes on there. Okay, but that's not forget. But these keys, that is obviously the stop key, goes in the middle there. Yeah, that's the stop key. It goes like that. Okay, that's the stop key. Yeah. Now, the other keys, there are two types. 3 of one and one is separate. The separate one is for the pause control. Okay. The separate one is for the pause control, and the pause control operates here and like that. And basically, it's a hold down pause. Okay, so that goes in there like that. Okay. Now each one of these holes, it's big enough to hold 2 of these connections here. You see, like that. Okay, like that. I'm show it a bit better like that. Okay, so that goes in there like that, and it also provides room for that one, like that. They both go in like that. You see? You got that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's how the wind books up. So those two, put those two separate for now to eliminate any confusion that may occur. Now also there are 4 of these springs. Come on, is it 4 or 5? 5. Yeah. They go into into this board like that. There. And they provide the springiness of the button, they come go back up again. Okay, so they go like that. Yeah, the button goes on top like that, and the whole thing should then hold in place, and everything is held in place at the end with a bar which goes to the top here and holds the lot in place. That's this bar here. It's held in at each end by a circlip, and it goes in like that and holds everything in place. That is basically how these work. Okay, very similar in some ways to cassette mechanisms, but I don't know much about them either. So like I said, so that goes like that. Yeah, one of them, I think these are the same. I'll just check. I think these are all the same. One of them, yeah, they do. I think they are, but we'll find it soon enough. So that goes like that. You see, like that, and this goes like that, and like that, and should go through there without that falling on the floor, which has just happened. It's one of those jobs which is very simple to talk about, but not very simple to do. So I'm going to stop the camera and sort it out best I can off camera, and I'll show you how to do it. And that is because I might use, I would say, non-Zuckerberg friendly language. I've turned the thing around slightly so you can see the buttons which I've now put back on. The mechanism works, as you can see there. That's rewind, stop. It's not fully because of course it's not in, but the buttons work okay, including play, as you can see there. The springs go into little notches on the front of the unit, which we saw earlier, and also to the top of the button the buttons have springiness. Okay, that's how they do it. It's not shown very well in the diagram. You see there. But one thing which you must look for here is the pause control is a different button. Okay, pause control is a different button, different number, as you can see there. As regards putting this lot back together is concerned, if you don't have to take it apart, then really don't. It's a bit of a job to take apart and put back together. With two hands, I've only got one, but I've got it together in the end. I called it a few things in the process, but it's back together again now. And so, when you're putting one of these back together, do it stage at a time. I've also put the head drum back on as well. Also, to put the buttons back on, it is worth taking this off as well. It goes there like that, and it goes onto there, rather like that. You see, and there's a spring which goes on to hold it in place, which is here. So that with that off, you get down there a lot easier. With this off, okay. This looks like this one screw. If it takes something off to get something back in place, do it, because these are a bit of a pain to get apart and get together again. I've done it here, but it's taken me time, as I said. Also, I've got a new spring coming for this, which is on its way. And also I put the drive belt in now, because of course I don't want to put it together then find out, oh shit, I'm going to take it again apart again to put the drive belt on. I found a better drive belt for it actually, which is there. So this machine is getting back to normal, as it were. This one is going to work again. It is. I promise you, it is. But with everything with anything like this, the one thing which you must always do is be logical, be patient. Yeah, swear as much as you want. Anybody who doesn't swear with something like this, there's something wrong with them. Believe me, I have done. I've sworn a hell of a lot. But there you are. So this lot is now working moderately well, and on to the next stage. Tonight, because I want to break some mechanics really, I'm going to be looking and making this board safe to put back in the unit and stay there. So I've got some Gorilla Glue. This stuff's amazing, by the way. It just holds things together. It's brilliant, this stuff, it really is. Absolutely superb. So first thing we do is get it together as much as we can, like so. It doesn't have to be right, but you know, as long as it's held together, you know, reasonably well, and that's all really we're looking for here, you know. So now, with that like that now, see that? Yeah. What I've done is I've put it together. Let's try and put it. There we are. Now with that like that, now you see, like that. You're not forgetting this thing there, you see. We're going to put Gorilla Glue first of all on the component side, away from the tracks, okay? And hang on, I'll make the camera go up a bit. Hang on. There we go. Right. Now this, as you can see, is if it wasn't for these two capacitors, the thing would be in two pieces. So it really does need to be looped at. So now we're going to put that like that. Yeah, like that. Okay. And I think the first thing we'll do actually is possibly hold the earth together with solder, just to hold it in place well enough to solder it and glue it together. So what I'll do first of all, I'll get a little bit of solder like this, and we'll get the and we'll get this something approving right. And once it is something approving right, yeah, then we should be able to it takes time, by the way, it takes time this to get it right, so you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange it so that the there we go, try that again. Okay, so that is now held like that. Comes apart very easily actually, which is why I'm going to do it this way. You see, so that is going to go like that now. You see, just hold it in place somehow like that. Like that. And very quickly I'm going to solder this together here. This is so that we can at least do the gluing on this side, away from anything that doesn't want glue anywhere near it. So now on this side here, now you see the places where the glue is going to go is there, there, and there. Don't have to be perfect. It's only a single-sided board this, so it don't have to be perfect by any means. Indeed, it isn't going to be, you know. But as long as this holds it together, then that really is all we need. So, and they're going to leave that to dry for a bit. Once it's dried in place, then I can start soldering the tracks up properly here. Now on this one actually there isn't much soldering to do, you know, very little in fact. So we can, you know, first of all there's that one which is okay. Now there's this one. And this one is the earth. What I'll do with the earth actually is I will make sure that it goes through by putting wires from there and there to there. That's no problem. That's okay. Now over here again, I'm going to solder that. Solder this up here properly. Just give it a bit more strength. There we are. Not right, but I don't know what this board does. It's some sort of power supply, I think, but we don't really need to know that much about it. So, you know, we're not going to basically. So now we're going to get some wire on and tuck up these traces here. So a bit of wire from somewhere. Bit of wire. Bit of wire from somewhere. Here we are. A bit of this will do. Like that. And what we're doing now is we're going to make it go from, first of all, hang on, where we here we are, right, here we are. Right, so now that can go up there, this can go here like that. Can you see that? No, you can't, can you? Okay about that? Yeah, okay. So now we're going to take some off there like that. And where the heck are my glasses? Where they? Honestly. that might help matters, mount it. So now we take a little bit off there like that. There we go. And we go from there to there on this one here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is thin that. Okay, thin that very briefly and put it there. And this is not the best way of doing it, but it will do. It will do. You know, basically, I'm going to put that like that on there, and solder it together in the end. Don't have to be great. Okay. Try that again. Here we get the other end of it, and we do the same again over here. So I do that, then I'll come back and see it done, I hope. And there it is, nicely held together again with Gorilla Glue, which is good stuff actually. I can recommend it. And also the tracks have been bridged, as you see there. That one to there, that one there, I just bridged it there, okay. That one, by the way, the earth, I've gone from there to there, big one there. So that's there. And of course there to there. No other components in it damaged in any way. So that board is now ready and ready to go back in the unit when the unit goes back together, which will be sometime soon, I hope. The reason why I went and looked at the board over there to put that back together again, it's not perfect but it'll do, is that I'd take this unit apart and run it down to Andy's. A funny fault actually with a very simple cause. Like I said, these machines do cause some rather interesting faults for various reasons. And the problem with this one was that upside down, it would actually beat the buttons latch down. Right way up it didn't. It now does because the spring underneath wasn't actually powerful enough, and so we put another one on. But while it's apart, I thought we might just take a look at what this thing does. It's a standard cassette mechanism, only bigger, with the bar there, and the keys, apart from the post, are held down like that. You see, they're held down with that. Okay, that's play that. The other ones are basically work in exactly the same way. So what they do, if we put it in one, for example, it moves this up and that together and engages whatever spindle it is. The problem we get more than these is here with these, okay, which have been cleared. So this now has to go back in the unit, and of course then I will, then I need to sort out various things that have to go back on it. Such, by the way, as you notice, heads which off it as well. So we are getting there. Normally these tape recorders don't create so much trouble as this one, but this one, I'm afraid, it rather has. Many people will probably have ditched the machine this bad, but I'm not many people. I'm me. I'll actually pass it and also show you how it works. So Oh, look at the rest of the unit, which is here. Let's get it for you. Okay, right. I'll just pop that out of the way. This is the tape recorder itself. Yeah, it's various states of undress, and you see first of all that there goes onto the connections there. You see, and the rest of it, the heads go, I think, down that hole there. So that's going to be done as well. But first thing we're going to do is put this lot back together again, and hopefully it will at least move the reel back and forth reasonably well. That is the first thing I'm looking for. Get the deck working and then move on to onto the electronics, which is a whole new ball game. Believe me, really a whole new ball game. I'm not quite sure where this goes. I think it goes in a hole here on the main board. I think it. Where my finger is. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That's where that goes. So this lot has to go back together, and then hopefully we might get a deck that works. When the deck's working, the electronics should be fairly simple. The unit is now been put back together mechanically, and if you give it power, the motor runs, as you can hear. It needs some work doing on that, I think, but wait, okay, that's the motor, nice and quiet, as you can hear there. So, that's one way, yeah, let's play, okay, and that is fast forward. So the deck is now okay. Now while I've got the thing apart, I'm going to actually go and have a look at some voltages too, just to see what state the electrics are in. Because, yeah, so first thing we'll do is get a lead that's long enough, a meter that's, there you go, right, can you see that? We can, right, so now, what I'm going to do first of all is go there, and of course onto there. And that seems very, very, very low, does that? Very, very, very low in fact. So, no, well, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? No, okay, try that again. What are they like now? 332 and 32. That is hard because at the moment there are valves not in this thing. But if we go on to the pins of the output transformer, of course we can check the voltage there as well, which I will do in a moment. I'm going to turn the unit round first of all, so I can actually look at the circuit board. So if we just give it a quick turn around it, somehow or other. There you go, son. Round you go, son. Round you go. Right, now we know that the deck works okay now. That's no problem. So now I'm going to look at this board here and see what voltages are where. There will be some cap sleeve changing obviously, but that's for the future. So now if we look round here, we should see on that pin, with that on there, again we will. By the way, my other meters stopped working, so I'm stuck with this one. So you know, well, this one is okay on voltage. So there you go. So now we should get something. We do, okay, and also it should be something on pin number. I think it's 3 as well. I think it's that one. There are, okay. Now going over to the EC 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3. And that's interesting because the Hunt's capsule is possibly seem to have held up. I'm not sure whether that's true or not, but it's certainly possible. But I'm going to change one or two anyway on it, just for completeness really as well. And also the magic I noticed as when it was in, the green didn't come out properly, so the capacitor there resisted that and it's changing as well. So I will go up the deck very carefully, put this board back in, and try it again and make sure. But it looks as though we finally might be on our way home with this. It might be anyway. So the deck is now working, which is a good thing, shall we say. By the way, I've also got the replacement there to the deck. I'm going to change it to an ordinary 3-pin DIN because that's a lot easier to find a microphone for, but that'll do towards the end of the job. So the next thing is find out any funny little thing that is happening, find a belt for the counter, and of course go to this board and change a few capacitors, shall we say, just a few. Now also with these decks, there's something else too which happens. The record button here goes down for record and up for playback. Okay? Look at it this way up, you see. I'll move it into picture. There you are. You see this button here, you see. Now with it up like that, play is engaged. With it down like that, the switch on the board here on the back flips over and record is engaged. Yeah? Now basically what you do, once you record, press that red button and press play, and it goes to record. Yeah, quite simple. But when this board comes out, you need to put it back in exactly as it was, otherwise this might not occur. So now we've got another interesting problem here, because we've got to get this board back exactly as it was. There are the 2 screws which go in, they're up here, and then of course we should be able to make it operate correctly. On the manual, by the way, we should be able to see it. This manual, by the way, is good, but certain things are missed out, so which one it is I really don't know. Right, it's here, you see, this button here, you see, the record button, it's this button here. So I'll just hope you can see that. Yeah, it's this button right here, one marked R for record. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's up for play and down for record. That's how that works. So now we're going to put this back in place properly, so it will actually do what it's supposed to do. At this point now, that board is in properly, soldered in as well. I've not fitted the new mic socket yet, but I have actually done some maintenance on this board as well, preventive maintenance for the future. The next thing after that will be the tone capacitor here, and of course the head drum, which is the heads which are here on this, you see, which sits on the front of the deck. Now I might have to take the heads off this completely to work out how it goes. Not looking forward to that. I must admit, I keep putting it off. I can't put it off forever because of course it's got to go on. Yeah, Also, there are certain things on the FTD4 board which are not going to be on this one. This is going to be a sort of FTD 3.5 in a way, just to make it a little bit easier. But you know, also, you know, I've got to change the resistor on the EMH7 as well. So we're finally getting somewhere with this. Finally getting somewhere. But Tim recorded it apart until we could get it at two different beasts, and yeah, there's something on these which I will actually leave in it, just to show you what happens if it doesn't look at this stage. Just an educational measure, so stay tuned for that. Right, I've now put all the various bits and pieces back in this. The head assembly is back in place. The new socket is in. The new socket, by the way, is for the more common microphone, like I said. And so I've got to do now is wire things up under here. All the capacitors that I want to change have done. I've not changed the resistor for the Magic Arm because it's very hard to get at, so I'm going to try and maybe cope with that another way. But now, of course, we've got to take it, put it on its front, like so. Right, like that, you see, that on its front now, we see. And now we're going to put various wires together in place, and from that we might be able to then power it and see what happens. First power up, everybody. Let's see what happens. Applying mains now. Straight away the motor comes up as it should, and there's no smoke or fire or anything anywhere. So first place for Luke is on the smoothing capacitor, which is here. That's okay. That's okay, a bit high, but these things should come up okay. Look underneath, actually, I find that the green light is lit on the EMH7, so the AAT is fine, and it appears to be perfectly smoothed as well. So might not be, but it appears to be from what the voltage is and that. So that's one thing. Okay. Now, and this valve has got an unit's got an ECL86 in it. They're very prone to problems. So which is why I changed a few capacitors just to eliminate that from future thinking. So now, if I was to get the circuit, which is here, yeah, ECL86, we should have power on pin 6, pin 3 and pin 9. So let's see, pin 6, pin 3 and pin 9. Well, pin 9 is this one here. It doesn't tell me a right lot, that does it? Okay, fine, well, right, well, that's pin 9, pin 6 and pin 3. So the voltage I get in there okay. There should be a smaller voltage also on pins 7 and 2, the cathode voltage. So pin 7 and pin 2 should have a small voltage on. So that's that pin. That pin, no, it's that pin. It does have a right lot. And no, 1, 2, yes, that one. Which doesn't have a right lot, as I can tell. That could be a problem. And of course, pin 7, which I want it. That's a bit right. So pin 2, therefore, on there, ground straight to deck. So this should be okay. So that valve is doing something as it should be doing as well. Now coming down to the ECC3, therefore, voltage is first of all on pin 6 and pin 1. These details here are on the manual here. There's the manual, and you can look at them up online as well. I noticed, by the way, that best one, where any said whether it happens to be the vintage valve website. So right, so pin 1, see that one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's okay, yeah. Now there should be something possibly on pin 3, so let's go at pin 1 and 3. Okay, and pin 9 goes to deck, so won't be anything there either. And there shouldn't be anything, by the way, at this stage on any of the grids. The caps have been changed, so there really shouldn't be. So again, that's pin number 7 on here. So it's that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's okay. And pin number, I think that's pin number 9 or pin 2, I'm not sure which, I think it's pin 2, so there's no lot there either. By the way, these valves, by the way, they do have 2 separate trials, so it's 3 pins at the first trialed heater, and then the other pins, but also pin 9 is also a heater pin, because on these, of course, it goes through there, so each heater can be switched in and out individually. Together, the heater pins on these will be 12 volts, but there's a cap at 6, or 6.3 and 12.6 to be precise. Now going over to the valve 2, over here again. Pin number 1. Again, that's okay. That'll do. That's okay. And pin number hang on, other sheet. The one that matters is, of course, pin number 8. So we check on pin number 8 as well, which is, I think, that one there. Okay, so all well and good. Again, there's no smoke yet or anything like that, so things are looking good. So now I will wire up a speaker, and we should hear some noise and some hiss and some hum in the speaker. That's the next step. But so far it looks pretty good. When you're modifying a unit, any unit, it's easy to forget things, and I have here, and the result, the thing was completely dead, and I'll very quickly tell you why. The speaker, which is over there outside of this machine, came off the 8-put transformer, which is there. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's that there. Yeah. Now there are 2 ways this can go to deck. One way is down here, but it goes to there, and also a 22k resistor. That's not deck. But we go up here, and it goes to deck via the mic socket, which I've changed, of course. But when I changed it, that after deck was no longer there. So not only was it not making any noise whatsoever, but it couldn't do, because this here was open circuit virtually. So therefore, the cathode voltage, 17 volts or so, was not going to deck. And also because it went via the speaker here as well, the speaker actually was also at 17 volts, but it wasn't going anywhere. So what I did in the end, for the moment I've got this speaker on the 8-put transformer here, it's behind the set here, and what I did was I put the speaker straight on the 8-put transformer here, but again, because there was no deck there, there's still no audio. So what I did was I actually ran it from there, the bottom of this R21, to deck, and finally it works. Very simple thought, but with the modifications, other problems can appear, so you've got to keep your wits about you with things like that. You really have. So now, if I was to switch the unit on, which I'll do now, like that, put that out of the way, you see, it's there, you see, and the speaker here. And when this thing warms up now, it should make a noise there. And also the voltage is, there it is, yeah. Despite my mobile phone causing problems as well there, as you can hear. So also, when this happens also, yeah, that's my phone that, yeah. Also, therefore, I also found that the voltages on the anode and the screen grid, I think it was, control grid, screen grid, were high because of course it wasn't going anywhere. The other half of it actually, what was because it was going to deck there, you see. So now that thing is completely, and now of course, what I'm going to do now, put this thing the right way up, and the moment of truth is near. Time to put tape on it. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, and of course, go. 2-track tape and a 4-track machine. Sounds okay. Sounds okay. So that's okay. Right, so now we're nearly home. Nearly, because there's a slight issue with recording on this machine. I've got a microphone here which I can use to check. With this machine, actually, first of all, that microphone will go in that socket like that. And if you press this button down here, that the mic is okay. Thank you very much. Yes. Now going on to record. Like this, holding that one down a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But hold it. But the thing that out like that, it doesn't. So let's go to playback again and see what it. That one down a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But hold. Yeah. The thing with the eraser is to do with tape pattern alignment, that we can sort it pretty quickly. I'll take that off and then put it back in there. Right, so now we've got a problem with this button here, which is causing it not to record or even erase. This button, I'll just wind that tape off. This button here operates a multi-layer switch on this board here, and it might just want switch cleared, it might want something else, I don't know. But I know also, I've noticed that I don't hold it up to play, so there's obviously a spring missing there or something as well. So I'll look into that, and also while I'm here, I will also make sure, also take these off from where they come from, put them on the 8-put transformer there. That way it can run off its own speaker, and that can go and back into its place. So nearly home, nearly home. Right, I'm at this stage there, and that's my phone, by the way. I've now at this stage managed to get the record to work as well as the play. The switch for record is all across this board down here. If you look at the circuit, switch is here somewhere. That's the phone, like I said. It is in fact right across that board, and that board was moving about slightly, enough to not make it record properly. So now, if we now go to play first of all, that's okay, that's play, you can hear that's okay.
Yeah.
Brenda Lee, I think that was. And so now, if we go to record like that, the Magic Eye is now moving in line with my voice, like that, you see. And if I now do that, and do this, Magic Eye is now moving in line with my voice, like that, you see. And that's it. So now, all I've got to do now is make sure that is secure, clean up the case, and
Put it back all together.
basically put it back together again. This tape recorder has had a rather interesting life, shall we say, but it's now again working. So I'm back with you, mate. There's not with this actually, with these 4 faults. What you never know is precisely which fault took it out of action. You never know that. I think it was probably the record being faulty down there, and I think. But obviously the drive book was broken, and under here, you tried to take this board off, failed miserably. A lot of these screws have been replaced. All these on the heads, yeah, have been replaced as well. I've also changed the socket, as you know. So it's now ready to go back together again and continue working for another 20-30 years. Right, now I've got the top cover on. I've got the top cover on before I put the whole thing together at this stage, because with these decks there's something else which only occurred with the unit put together. There's an old saying that a tape recorder apart and a tape recorder together are 2 different machines. So, rewind. There we go, yeah. Fast forward. There we are. And you can see there that there's no actual scraping from the reels on the deck, so that's okay. So now we've got play. Now on this machine, play means that up and that down. So so there is the King and I playing away happily, forwards and backwards. That is because this is a 4-track machine and 2-track tapes. One of the interesting things with that is that you can actually hear a track played backwards, which is interesting. When I was a kid, quite fun. I remember listening to hymns backwards on my tape recorder as a kid. Yeah, well, kids, for you see. But yeah, anyway, so that's okay now. And so now we've got to look at putting the thing together. And like I said, a tape recorder apart and a tape recorder together are of course 2 completely different machines. Believe me, I know this from the past. You know, things can work perfectly on the bench, but put them together and suddenly you decide not to. It's just the way these things are. At this stage now, before I put the thing back together, I'll tell you what the problem was with it first of all here. This thing here, the top cover, and that's this thing here which goes over the top and looks nice in theory. That won't go on properly if this valve does not go down into this little hole here. Now when you take this bit off to look underneath, which we've done on this machine, this here has a spring behind it, and that spring operates this, you see here, like that, you see? Like that, you see? Now, when I put it together before, that was out and it was here, and so that couldn't go down far enough. When that couldn't go down far enough, this thing here wouldn't go on this corner here. Wouldn't go on this corner here, you see, because of that valve. That's one thing. Another thing, by the way, just while I'm here, the reason why I put that thing on it earlier on was because I felt that tape recorder apart and tape recorder together are two different things. And with these decks, spool height is all important. The main thing is that sometimes with these, if these go too far down, then the wheels will scrape against there. I guess we talk with that on, you see. And so I make sure that won't happen. If it does, what you do, you go underneath like I've done before, take whichever wheel it is off and put a washer underneath at the top end to raise it up a bit. That's what you do. And so basically, that's something that you should do on all these machines, no matter how closely you think they are. Always check it. And also, please also, you know, don't ever just go entirely off the manual. Manuals are very good in fact, but this problem and that problem are not mentioned in the manual at all. They're ticked on the top. So there you are. Also, of course, I put the new socket on, the new capacitors, new motors, and so this machine is now ready to go back together. So next time I come up on your screen, hopefully this will be together and maybe even working. What you do, first of all, this is the bottom case here, and there is here somewhere where the mains cord to go through in the bottom here. So that goes on first, and the whole lot goes through and sits on the case, and with 4 screws on the side, it'll go in place. That's the first thing we do. Now the unit is in the case again, not screwed in yet. I'm just going to I strike a careless pose and twist my happy tune. And no one ever knows I'm afraid. It's just in my fingers, you know, not that. Anyway, that's it. Working away in the unit, and so now, what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to get some newish bolts. Hold this in because again, the ones that were in it, half of them are not here now. So it's a case of get what I can, you know. So again, with these things, you always make sure that when you're putting them back in, always make sure that you don't tighten one up, then the second one, the third one, and so on. You never do that. You never do that because the unit has to sit in place, and if one is in place and the rest of it won't sit, then you know that will have to come out as well. So get them all in and tighten them up one at a time, which I'm going to do now. So yeah. So what the screws we have here that we can use, I want 4 here, and they will hold the thing in place, I hope. Let's see what we've got. Hang on. This has some in the placement screws put in, actually, you won't believe it, but you know, when you have to, you know. Now, at this point in the proceedings now, I have to leave it for a bit because of that board inside that I glued back together. I wasn't entirely happy with, so I decided to do it again, just put some more on, just to make sure, and then of course give it time to dry, which is what I did. So that's why it's another day late. Never rush things, especially not with anything like this. You just don't, okay? If you rush it, then before you know where you are, that's not going to go in there, is it? Then you know, it's one step forward and 2 steps back. So never rush things. That's very, very, very important. Don't rush things. I used to when I was a kid, and let's just say that I found out the hard way, because when you're a kid you do things so fast, and sometimes you don't rush things. You do not. Very, very important. Do not rush anything. You know, I remember people saying that to me. They couldn't be going, yeah, whatever, you know. But it's true. It's true. So anybody listening to this who's a kid, don't rush anything. With electronic in particular, do not rush anything, because if you do, then you will come a cropper. Maybe not immediately, but you will. That is just a disaster waiting to happen. Again, as a tip from the top. Actually, it comes from my uncle Bill Ashworth, who helped me a lot as a kid. He got me started, actually. Well, sort of. I did the first repair at the age of 3, but you know, he actually, when I was a kid, the set we had in our front room, was a Bush TV 125, and it had these glowing rods in the back. And whenever it came to repair it, which was fairly often, you know, I would absolutely transfixed by it, you know. And video recorders had come out, and asking him how to put a video recorder to a TV set. In those days, there used to be a sort of video circuit which sets had, which was nothing more than an input on the audio and vision side, leaving out the transformer. That's all that was. But unfortunately, you know, that's all you needed, you know. But in those days, it was probably sold as a video circuit in order to make more money from the set. I'm afraid that sort of chicanery is nothing new. But when there's salesmen, there's always somebody. There's always come up with ways to con people. It's a fact of life, you know. I've been doing this week, actually. You know, the Conservative Party conference is on in Manchester, and as I say that they're the best salesmen going. They really are. You know, they're very nasty people, Conservatives. Not that I support Labour, by the way. They're as bad as each other, like, you know.
Make believe you're brave and the trick will take. You may be as brave as you make believe you are.
Okay, so it's okay so far. So with those two in, it's fine. So you can take this reel of tape off here, like so. Come on, come on. By the way, some tape recorders wire faster than others. This is standard. There are some recorders in particular wind at speeds which, frankly, it's frightening. I had a tape recorder with a kid actually that went so fast that it actually broke the sound barrier. I kid you not. It made this awful noise, and we couldn't get where it was coming from. It was in fact the end of the tape and the reel sticking at the top, breaking the sound barrier. Kid you not. That's how fast we're going. Of course, I had to slow that down somehow, like, you know, because it was frightening, quite frankly. You know, I was quite scared of it. You know, I mean, it would have He'd have taken some of his fingers off of that. Why I insisted on going so fast, I do not know, but it did. For reasons, again, known only to itself, you know. Again, these things happen, you know, these things, you know, do happen, so, you know, not a lot you can do in that situation, you know, apart from just, so I think actually what I did was I changed a couple of cogs around inside to make it a bit slower. I think that's what I did. I'm not sure. It was like 40 years ago, but I remember it vividly because I remember Mum was saying how many people, how many victims it had, you know. Yes, it was actually breaking the same barrier. Scary, that. Very scary. Right, so that goes on. That goes in full. Okay, and that goes in full. Right, so just one more. And then we'll put the lid on this. The top of this machine and see if it, and hope to God that it's still okay regarding wheel scrape on the cabinet. By the way, if it get tape recorder coming into you, and it's got it's got insulation tape wrapped around that to make the wheel a bit higher, particularly with Grundigs or these. It'll scratch. It'll want new washers under here or under here. That's another one from the top. I mean, always look at the set before you go in and you know, always repair it. I did with this. As far as getting sets apart and fixing them is concerned, always have a look first. There are a lot of people out there who talk about horrible things such as not taking it apart and not powering it. And so, if it's in reasonable condition, to power it, or if it's not, you know. I've not had anything blow up on me yet, and I've been in this for 50 years, so, you know, maybe I'm blasé, but, you know, life's too short. Life really is way too short. Oh, way too short. Let's see if this will go in there, shall we? There we are, how about that? Straight on. How about that? Straight on, so without any problems around that valve. That problem, by the way, was I admit down to engineer error. When these things come apart to be looked at, always look carefully where everything goes or does not go, because there's always something waiting to trap you without fail. There always will be. It's just the nature of the game, you know. So always be ready for that. I can't tell you that strongly enough, you know. Also with this one, actually, now put them different size screws in. I'm tending to put these other screws in and tighten them up a bit more straight away, just to make sure that they are covered. The screws that is going in the head of those won't actually cause a problem with the rest of the unit. That's something else which you need to look out for. Now it should work okay still with the top on. It should do. Will or not, remains to be seen, but it should. That's all I'm going to say, it should. Also, with this particular tape recorder, these machines are quite common. You find them at record fairs, radio fairs, and on the dreaded site, of course, where people sell things for more than the worth, you know, eBay, and other sites of a similar nature, like Facebook Marketplace, actually where this one came from. You know, these are very common, and very few of them have all the problems that this one has had. Very, very few. This one has been very, very unlucky. Very, very unlucky, in fact. So there we are. Another trick, by the way, if you've got any screws which fit but aren't the originals, put them somewhere where they're not as likely to be seen when the unit is in regular use. In one of these, I used to put them at the back here, where the wheels could cover them up, like that. Okay, so now it's time to put that one on. There we are. Right, put these two on. Wonder where they came from. Every time you take something apart, I don't know if it's just you, but there's always something left over. Always. There shouldn't be, but a number of times there is. And that is why every engineer has a box of bits, because, you know, that is the nature of the game. It is a game at the end of the day, you know. At the end of the day, it's in a game, you know. But very few of these machines actually have many faults. The one common fault with these, of course, is the wheels not moving across and winds. That is the most common fault. The other stuff, the drive belt from down here to up there, you don't have to take the whole thing apart to change that. Just undo a few screws and it will come out. Back, fast forward, and of course play. Like that. What's that? Don't tell me it's doing something stupid on me here.
Whenever I see her face, I hold my head in regret and whisper happy tune, so no one will suspect I'm thing in my shoes. I strike a careless pose and whistle a happy tune, and no one ever knows I'm afraid. To be out of this deception is very strange to tell. So when I fool the people I fool myself as well. I whistle a happy tune, and every single time.
Yeah, by the way, that is of course because of the phone. Also, I've in fact on a few times press record on this tape, so there you are. These tapes, by the way, are World Record Club, and if you've got any a look on them, you'll find that they don't, generally speaking, have a copyright on them, so you can actually use them. As far as I know, anyway, I use them for demonstrating tape recorders. Just another thing to remember, because copyright on YouTube is getting, well, quite frankly, stupid, you know. But there you are. Anyway, this is a Ferguson 322, I think it was meant to be, no Ferguson 32. I cleaned up the best I can. It's working again now, after loading. It's had a new mic socket, so it's on the 3-pin microphone here rather than the weird setting that it had before. The keys taken out, put back in again because they weren't working right. The drive belts, of course. The thing with the winds, which is, as you can see now, working on this, and other things as well. So yeah. Also, the speaker is now ran straight off the 8-put transformer, which I've turned round inside because from the factory there was nothing but a small piece of insulation tape protecting that from the circuit board, and that would have been very dangerous. I've also grounded the EC6 differently because, of course, on these sets now, it used to take its ground from the mic socket, which it doesn't. So I've grounded it on the PCB inside. So everything I've done to it, some things I've done for it because I need to. I've done a few modifications, which again you can do quite easily. And now it's a working machine again, as we saw. So I'm here on Steve's Vintage Radio Workshop, Long-Term Workshop. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. In the meantime, remember, Christmas and winter and autumn are coming, so it's time to stock up on things to repair, like I have, and over Christmas, the New Year, want to get away from the family, which I certainly will do. What better way to do it than mend something? Because that is the way to live. I say that because people at the moment talk about climate change and that, yeah. At the same time, they have electric kettles and we should play every 2 or 3 years and things like that. You know, keeping this working all the time might be a bit on the extreme, but it can be done. And I'm a big fan, by the way, of the right to repair movement. That's where you actually have a right to repair anything that comes in, parts that are available. That is very important because, of course, most stuff can be repaired. Even the new modern TV sets, usually it's only capacitors. And capacitors we can still get. So yes, they can be repaired. So, you know, there's no reason at all why things cannot be repaired. So repair them. Why not? Anyway, I'll see you soon. So until next time, goodbye, and God bless, and wherever God is, be faithful to Him, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.